because I didn't want to risk any allergies. Because, the whole saying, before 2 is a risk, and I thought I've done it with all of the 3. So this morning, because she had a rough day yesterday, she had breakfast this morning and she threw up. She threw up 4 times yesterday, and then she threw up 2 or 3 times this morning. And then from the look when I picked her up, because she looked like she was on her back and her head was turned. When it was turned away from me, it looked like she was asleep, except she wasn't responding. She wasn't jumping up when I came in, because she would always get excited. She was just there. And then I looked around and I saw her eyes were unfocused. I was like, this isn't right. And her bottle was empty. So she ate, but there was puke in her hair. So I was like, okay. So my mind went on autopilot. I thought, oh, she's choking on her food. That's the only thing that could be doing this, because she was shallow breathing. Is that like there's food in her lungs? Trying to keep control.
Okay, you're fine.
So I told him, go to Walmart. I don't see what I did different. I don't see what I did wrong. A ball of dried cereal didn't get mixed in with her bottle right. And when she tried to swallow it, it went down in her lung and it choked her, because it's not like there was food in her lungs that she was choking on.
Emergency services in Yuma, Arizona, answered a call about a 23-month-old toddler who had stopped breathing on September 13, 2020. Jaime McBride said her daughter, Emily, had choked on baby cereal. First responders did not find evidence of choking. They found a child who resembled a skeleton. At nearly 2 years old, Emily weighed 7 pounds, 5 ounces, less than her birth weight. Detective Thompson walks into the interrogation room knowing he is dealing with 9 months of circular stories. 40 minutes of dialogue will settle the case.
So like I said, I'm Detective Thompson. I don't know a whole lot about what's going on yet, and that's why I'm here to talk to you. You are not under arrest. You are free to leave. If you remember how you came in, you can go the same way. If you want me or someone to walk you out, we'll do that for you. There's the door right there, leave. So don't think of this as an interrogation, as if you're a suspect or a criminal or anything like that.
Thompson minimizes the gravity of the room immediately. He tells Jaime she is not under arrest, points out the exit, and notes she can leave whenever she wants. He offers validation. Jaime accepts the setup and begins to talk.
Okay. We understand that crap happens. Okay.
Worse than crap. It's God playing games, and it's not fair.
Okay. So with that said, I need help filling in the blanks. I know a little bit. Okay. So go ahead and walk me through today. If you want to go further back than today, by all means, go ahead. Okay. But I need some help figuring out what happened.
Okay. So around New Year's, we were out back, we were doing fireworks. We were downwind, so smoke wasn't coming up towards us. Jim and the older girls were about 15 feet up ahead of us in the grass area in the dirt, and we were on the concrete, so she could watch, but she couldn't inhale anything. That was the last time she left the house, period. And she and I have been indoors because of the whole COVID crap, because they shut down schools and all this crap. They let us all know that before the end of Christmas and New Year's break. But since New Year's time, that's when we know she started having a throwing up problem every few days. And she would gag on certain foods, and it was causing her to lose weight. And then she'd have a few good days, she would keep the food down. And then she would be back on that same pattern. But see, when she would be on those puking days, I wouldn't give her pups because I didn't want her choking. And I always stuck to one brand of baby cereal. And the one brand of the formula. But see, the formulas we had to keep changing because she would get constipated, she would get too much calcium, she would get gassy, she would get bloated, and her stomach's so bad it would make it hard. So we tried the orange, which is for lactose intolerant, because we thought maybe she's having problems with milk. Or maybe the blue has too much calcium or protein, or we tried that one, and then that one stopped working after a couple months. And so we switched her to the purple, which is the gentle. And it also helps with gasiness and fussiness, the same as the lactose intolerant, but she still gets the calcium that she needs. It's not lactose intolerant, but it's still sensitive. And we got her on that. And then she wasn't getting the nutrition that she was getting because she was losing weight again. She was throwing up again. And so we switched her back to the blue so she would have full nutrients.
Jaime builds her first defensive perimeter with specific colors of formula, baby cereal brands, and Kraft macaroni and cheese. True crime psychology classifies this as overcompensation. Guilty subjects frequently weaponize mundane maternal details to project hypervigilance. She wants Thompson to see an attentive mother managing a sickly infant. The math refutes the story. Jaime claims she is constantly feeding the child, yet the 23-month-old weighs less than a healthy newborn. The narrative is a biological impossibility. She is running out of dietary excuses.
And we switched her back on that with whole milk because on her throw-up days, we would not do the solid foods. We would do baby cereal with formula or baby cereal with milk. She would have 2 of those in the morning, 2 in the noon for lunch, and then 2 at night. If she was having a good day or two that she wasn't puking or gagging on her food, she would have diced canned carrots with it, and boxed mac and cheese, and pups, and a few teething cookies, but she didn't get to open the teething cookies that we just got her this week. And then about right after the lockdown in March, she gained a little bit of weight, but then she started losing it again. I haven't been giving her any peanut stuff, like peanut butter or any of that, because I didn't want to risk any allergies. Because the whole saying, before 2 is a risk, and that's how I've done it with all of the 3. So this morning, because she had a throw-up day yesterday, she had breakfast this morning and she threw up. She threw up 4 times yesterday, and then she threw up 2 or 3 times this morning. And then from the look when I picked her up, because she looked like she was on her back and her head was turned. When it was turned away from me, it looked like she was asleep, except she wasn't responding. She wasn't jumping up when I came in because she would always get excited. She was just there. And then I looked around and I saw her eyes were unfocused. I was like, this isn't right. And her bottle was empty. So she ate, but there was puke in her hair. So I was like, okay. So my mind went on autopilot. I thought, oh, she's choking on her food. That's the only thing that could be doing this, because she was shallow breathing. Is that like there's food in her lungs? Trying to keep control.
Okay, you're fine.
So I told him, go to Walmart, get a booger getter, and get a small nipple pacifier because she has food stuck in her nose and her lung that is blocking. So he went, he got him. I started blowing in her mouth to clear out her nose because I wasn't waiting any longer. and she was still shallow breathing. Her heartbeat was a little bit quicker than it was when the ambulance got here. And all I did was clear up mucus and a little bit of milk that I could see because it was white, but it wasn't chunky like the cereal. So I don't know if only the chunks got stuck in her lungs and the liquid went up her nose. I don't know if she might have coughed or hiccuped and it went down wrong, because she would open and close her mouth. So I only had that response. She wasn't blinking. The light test where you test their pupils, it looked like it was working and then it stopped. They stayed, what is it called, dilated when it's lightest?
When the pupil is bigger?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that called dilated?
I don't know.
That's how it looked. And then her lips stayed pink, so I know she was breathing. I had her father make a lukewarm bath before he left. I filled it with this much to try and loosen whatever I could in her lungs to see if that would help. I laid her on her back. I washed the throw up out of her hair. I did the dressing on her leg because she had bedsores that we couldn't, they would go away and they'd come back. Go away and then come back. I tried so many ointments. I tried propping her. I've tried swallowing her. I didn't know why she was the only one, because the other three literally never had bedsores. She was always moving. Always moving. She was on her tummy, on her side, on her back, wiggling around. There was no keeping this child still. So, I got this new spray for him. It was in the bag. There was two of them. One was a wash, and the other one was, I believe, a medicated ointment spray. I don't know what they were. But I didn't put them on this time after her bath because it wasn't red and swollen. It looked normal. It was healing nice. It wasn't irritated. I put a Band-Aid on it to keep it from getting anything else in it. Put another diaper on her, wrapped in her towel, started patting her back. It sounded like something was coming out of her throat, like some liquid or gurgling, because she was blowing bubbles. So there was some response there, but she wasn't lifting her head. And so I put her like this on my arm. I put both her arms like this, kept her head that way. I started tapping like that to try and help her, and I did a little slight swing motion to try and put whatever was in her lungs down or come up to try and help it come out. And I did mini CPRs to see if that would help.
Jaime pivots to her next defenses to explain the deep, ulcerated sores discovered on the infant's body. She claims the baby was an aggressive wiggler who performed a worm-like motion on her mattress. She is blaming an immobile, starving toddler for her own physical trauma. When that fails, she uses the ultimate scapegoat of 2020. The pandemic lockdowns, fear of the virus allegedly kept her from ever seeking medical help, creating a world where she was the isolated savior. Her time in this room is limited. While Jaime blames a global pandemic, forensic teams are already inside her apartment. What they are uncovering will dismantle her timeline.
And then as soon as their dad popped in back from Walmart with the booger getter and the nipples, I had him make a milk bottle if she wasn't taking it. Told him to call 911. His friend was going to take me, and I said, no, get an ambulance. Either you go or I go. I don't care. When you go. And then right after we finally got them on the phone, or It was either right after he got on the phone or right before they got here. One of those two. Her breathing stopped. And then I listened to her back, and her heartbeat was going tick, tick, tick. So I grabbed her bag. I told the girl, stay on the bed till your dad handles you. I went out front. I told Jimmy, tell them to get their ass here now. Right now. She's not breathing. He said, do CPR. I'm like, I am. He goes, you have to lay on the ground. I'm like, I'm not laying her on this dirty ground out front to get even worse. Not happening. So I did another CPR round in my arms until he got here. And then I had Jimmy go check on the girls and then come back out. And I was told to walk over to the ambulance, hand her the baby, explain what I know that happened, and now we're here, basically.
Okay. So you have 3 older daughters?
Yes.
How old are they?
My oldest is 9. Second oldest will be 8. She's 7. My third oldest is 5. She'll be 6. That's it.
Okay. And Jimmy is your husband?
Yeah.
Is he the father of all 4?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me about, let's go back as far as the pregnancy. Was there any complications?
No, I haven't had any time to go get, actually, any appointment because of the bad breath this hospital had. Because the last thing I heard about it was they had his son and then beat him for 6 months.
Whose son?
Jimmy's.
Okay, so he has a son from
from an ex.
previous relationship. Okay.
And I have pictures to show he literally just as skinny as I was.
Okay.
And that's why I was so scared to even get OBGYN here because I was so traumatized when I found out I was pregnant in this town. I was like, no, not Yuma. Anywhere but Yuma.
Okay. So what's your older 3 daughters?
The other 3 were born in Sholo, Arizona, Summit Healthcare. I was just too exhausted because I already had the other 2. I didn't have patience for nobody.
Okay.
I was like, I'm not putting up, because she already got the gym.
Okay. So your other 3 kids, they were all born in Shiloh? Here?
Yeah.
How long ago did you guys move here?
About 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
So I believe she was about 5, just turned 5.
Okay. Was it at the hospital?
I had no choice.
Okay.
I couldn't do a bath birth, and I don't know.
Okay. Was everything okay during the delivery? Were there any complications? Was there anything out of the ordinary?
Not that I know of. I know I didn't get an epidural.
Okay.
I wasn't happy about that at all.
Okay. Any post-pregnancy follow-ups? Any baby? Did you take the baby? Did you take him in for any checkups after she was born? Anything?
Yes. She had her shots. She was on point with her weight. She had good length, good head size. The last shot she had was either right before last Thanksgiving or last Christmas. I just can't remember which one. It's in her Blue Medical book.
At the end of last year?
Around that time.
The end of 2019?
Yeah, because she had 6, and each 2 combined into 1. And she had them in her legs, and she barely even flinched or squeaked. I was so surprised. And we were at the doctor's office, and she, because her dad would drop me and her off, and then take the 3 older ones to the park across the street. That way we wouldn't be all stressing out the doctor and whatnot in that tiny little office.
Okay. So at the end of last year, end of 2019, were there any doctor visits for Emma?
Not for me, because after that whole... Because I literally felt like the baby was ripped out of me.
Okay.
I was traumatized. I wasn't trusting of any other adult. I didn't want to look at another doctor. I just didn't want them touching me.
Okay.
But her checkups and her shots until the last one, which is around holiday time.
Okay. Emma? For either you or what's your husband's name? Jamie?
Mm-hmm.
For either you or Jamie?
He had a hard time, I understand, because he missed the birth of his fourth daughter.
Okay.
But that kind of is my fault. Not on purpose, but accident, because when he dropped me off, I said, go get the two little ones out of school. And within the hour of me being in the hospital, and I had to call him, and he heard the screaming of the baby over the phone and realized he missed the birth. And I wasn't allowed to be around the phone. I wasn't allowed to talk to anybody. He tried blowing up that phone to figure out what room I was in, what's going on, all that, so he could know what's going on. And he wouldn't let me talk to him, wouldn't let me give a message, nothing. And because I didn't have an epidural, I was in so much pain, I couldn't focus on anything. I couldn't think straight. I was alone. I was terrified. I didn't know if, it was coming back in time. I didn't know. I just know I was going through this terror by myself.
Okay.
And so it caused an argument between him and I over the phone. He still showed up and everything, but he was hurt by me for missing the birth of one of his kids, and I understand that. And that made me feel like a bad person. Because I feel like my accident, I took something from him that he's always been there for me through. And I didn't know how I was going to deal with it. I didn't know how I was going to end up with it or anything like that. It came to the point where one of the nurses that was checking on me and Emma, this was the second night I came in, was checking the doors and everything, and she saw me break down. And I explained to her, do you ever feel like you're screwing up in life and you're mean too? And she goes, God makes decisions on his own and we never know what they're going to be. We just call it miracles. And I said, well, yeah, that's God, I don't want him. Because it's not fair. Because it feels like a bully with a magnifying glass crying ants. And so I remembered her words, and I tried to cope, and that's what got me through my downsides and all that. But I didn't turn dark or anything like that. It's just, I just thought to myself, am I ever going to be good enough?
And that all stemmed from him missing the birth?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he was so hurt by it, I feel like a horrible person.
Okay.
I feel like I'm the worst mother because I tried everything for her. Everything. I don't know what I even thought. I was scared to even take her to a hospital when it started happening because of the COVID stuff. I didn't want her to get sick. Because a mask wouldn't fit her. It would suffocate her. I couldn't trust that around her. So I feel like I'm being punished by him because he thinks that even though there's no COVID doesn't mean he can't take her. So I think he's a cruel bastard for playing those games. Because it's not right.
Jimmy?
No, God.
Okay. Was that the doctor? Was it when she got her shots? The end of last year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because she didn't need to go back in until April, I believe.
The tone of the room changes. Thompson has allowed Jaime to lock herself into a rigid timeline, and she makes a critical miscalculation. She claims her daughter's extreme weight loss occurred suddenly over a matter of weeks. Investigators know severe emaciation does not happen overnight. It requires months of systemic, daily deprivation. Jaime uses the illusion of sudden shock to bypass a glaring question. If a child is wasting away, why never pick up the phone? The physical evidence points to slow, agonizing indifference.
And that's when everything was on lockdown because of COVID, and I couldn't leave or anything like that. Even the kids were out of school, so I was like, over on lockdown. I don't know what else to do besides do what I can, and he's gotten her all different kinds of foods and, treats and nourishments and milk and, we tried every way, because she was fine until right after New Year's. I don't know what happened. I don't know if she put something in. I don't know if it's the brand of food that's all of a sudden changed. I don't know if maybe she had a pocket of dry food that choked her this time. I don't know. But she emptied the whole bottle, but I don't know what they did.
Okay. When did you notice her starting to lose weight?
Right after New Year's, because she started doing the throwing up stuff.
Okay.
And it would last a day or two, sometimes 3 days, and then it would stop for another 2-3 days, and it would start over again.
Okay. When she would throw up, would it be every time she ate, or would it be just random times throughout the day?
She would throw up a little bit after every meal.
Okay.
That's why because I try and remember, if she's going to start throwing up, then I remember, keep puffs away from her and cookies and stuff, because it will choke her when it's coming back up.
Okay.
And then she loved having canned carrots and mac and cheese, and I tried to save that part for on her non-throwing up days so she wouldn't gag on it. It would stick to her stomach. She'd have nutrition. She'd have, that substance.
Sure.
It was mainly with like the milk and formula and mixed with the cereal, but she can't just have straight, the formula. She needs something in there. Okay. That's why I mix the cereal in with it.
Sure.
We tried multigrain, we tried oatmeal, rice cereal. We didn't do anything with chunks because we didn't want to risk anything. Mm-hmm. We even stopped giving her the strawberry yogurt because it had mashed strawberries in it. She gagged on them. So we did vanilla yogurt. Mm-hmm. I don't know because on her nipples when she has the cereal, I have to cut an X in the nipple to make it just wide enough. Literally, the size of my thumb is as much food, like a tube that goes into her mouth. Not like this, just like the tip of my thumb. Mm-hmm. The way she has that, it doesn't, clog up. It doesn't, suck back into the bottle. It, it stabilizes her feeding habit. The way it keeps her jaw moving. It keeps, all that moving. But
okay.
I don't see what I did different. I don't see what I did wrong. I don't understand,
Did you notice, or have you noticed her having any specific symptoms to COVID, to any other flu, to
She's never had a fever.
Else?
She's literally never had a fever.
Okay.
Even when she got her 16th at one time, she never, not even had red gums. She would sneeze once or twice a week. She never even had a cough. I mean, she never got sick.
Okay.
That's what I understand. I don't know.
Okay. So, for about 9 months or so, from New Year's to now,
Mm-hmm.
is that about the time frames when she would have 2 or 3 days of throwing up, and then 2 or 3 days of
her weight would be
waiting?
up and down. It's just...
And that was just a constant for 9 months, or would she have a week where she'd be okay eating? Would she have 2 weeks where she'd be okay eating?
No, it would never last a whole week.
Okay.
I wish it wouldn't, no.
Okay.
But she would throw it all up. She would throw up at least half of it. That's why I'm saying I think that's where she lost the weight part was, because at first I thought it was tapeworm. I'm like, wait, If it was tapeworm, why would you throw up? You would lose the weight, but you would throw up your food because the tapeworm would be eating it. And then I thought maybe it's like her dad. But when he was born, his stomach valve didn't open. He had to have surgery when he was born. I was like, but she was fine for almost a year, and so it can't be the valve because she's getting food in. She's not throwing up every single time. So the only thing I can come up with is a ball of dried cereal didn't get mixed in with her bottle right, and when she tried to swallow it, it went down in her lung and it choked her because it sounded like there was food in her lungs and she was choking on it. Then I tried to get something out of her and I couldn't. I tried every way I could. I tried everything I knew how to do. I didn't know how to handle anything except do what I could. But I feel like a horrible mom, and I don't know what I did wrong.
26 minutes. That is how long Jaime McBride keeps up the circular script before it collapses under its own weight. Her psychology operates on a strict 10-minute loop. She cycles through the colors of formula, blames a global pandemic for her isolation, and calls a starving infant a mastermind wiggler to explain away bedsores. She built a fictional world where she was an attentive savior. The performance is over. Forensic teams are inside her home, and the reality they are uncovering shatters her timeline completely.
Okay. Did you have, throughout this 9-month or so period, would your family or Jimmy's family ever come and visit? Would you have friends over? Any relatives?
No. The last time anyone came over was... God. I think it was before November. That was just before anyone was in the house.
Okay. What about your other kids? Did they have friends that would come over?
They had one friend come over, and that was for a few days, and then she went home. And then her mom came and dropped off the new puppy for Jimmy's birthday that I ordered for him. They used to have a little friend that they go play with, so Jimmy can give me and Emma time to bond with each other, so we'd have a break from the older girl, so we could focus on each other, so she could learn a little bit quicker, because she was kind of behind because of all the stress and everyone else. And I didn't have any time with her except for care. I didn't have no mommy-daughter time. I didn't have no bonding. I didn't have nothing with her except feeding, changing, bathing, and all that. I didn't have no playtime with her. I didn't have that kind of time. You know, so he would take the girls over there with her for a few hours, and he would do that 2-3 times a week trying to help. And just recently, a couple months ago, that stopped because her dad got removed from, or got kicked out of his apartment and had to move in with his mom.
This is the friend?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so his daughter had to go live with his wife and her son. Well, he's living over there. So the kids don't go over there.
Okay.
You know, so they're stuck at home. And that was the last time anyone been around anybody except with me and her dad, except for when the sisters broke into her room trying to touch her. Maybe she's a doll.
And when you say by that?
Like, she wouldn't talk, but she'd coo, she'd make noise, you know what I mean?
Okay.
You know, I would have been happy if she hadn't said anything, as long as she was happy, you know? I let her figure it out on her own time, that way she'd know that it's okay to be yourself. Because she was so mellow, she was so sweet.
Yeah.
You know, she never threw a fit, she never fussed, she barely never cried.
Yeah. Tissues here.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're okay. Does she have her own room?
She used to be holding her in this corner of the crib, thinking that she's a doll, with her little baby. I said, no, that's your sister. She's not a pet. And I was always protective of her. they acted like she was a toy, basically, or a pet. And I got really offended over it. I understand that they're young children, I know that. But I get so upset. I would tell them, don't you ever touch her again like that. She is not your toy. She's not a doll. She is a human being. She's your sister. She's a baby.
Jaime lets slip the actual reality of the household past the 30-minute mark. Total, deliberate isolation. No family, friends, or neighbors had entered that apartment in nearly a year. Her most revealing psychological slip is how she frames her relationship with her daughter. She describes her own child not as a baby, but as an inanimate object. A doll or a toy kept hidden away in a dark corner. Jaime claims she was protecting her. The physical evidence indicates concealment. By keeping the world locked out, Jaime ensured no mandated reporter would ever see what was happening inside.
And I struggled with this since she was born with them. Izzy would start changing her diaper when I was asleep at night. Try to make me in her bottles. It's funny to try to play dress up with her, and I would get so stressed out.
So before that and after that, did she have her own room?
I was sleeping in our bed until her bed got there, but after I had them, I still couldn't able to do anything because I couldn't go over 50 pounds. When Emma was about 6 months old, his bed. So his mom, Jimmy's mom, and her new husband brought it, and we put it in there the first night, and she fell right to sleep. And we're like, okay, so done, everything. And so we go to sleep. Everyone's asleep. We finally have the bed to ourselves. And Jimmy wakes up early that morning and goes to make coffee, and he looks at in the corner, wrapped up in a blanket like a burrito, and flipped out and came and got me. And then she's been sleeping with her sisters in the other bedroom. Well, then we found out they were working together to destroy all their dresser drawers in Izzy's and Honey's room, throw clothes all over, destroy the blinds. And so then we had all three older girls sleeping with us in our bed while we used their room as the storage room, because that's where we were putting all the boxes from the orders for the new tools, the new car lights, and all that. So we got everything situated. And put my restocks and cleaning supplies in there just to keep it away from the kids. And I locked it. Emma's room is locked too. But somehow we get the key out of the little holder we have hung up to unlock Emma's door.
Locked from the inside or the outside?
Locked from the outside.
Jamie delivers the most damning detail of the interview. She casually explains that the bedroom door had a lock on it. It locked from the outside. She claims she kept the key hidden high up to protect her cleaning supplies. The structural reality remains. A vulnerable, starving 23-month-old infant was systematically locked alone inside a room. This admission destroys the defense of accidental neglect. It establishes a calculated system of confinement. While Jaime and her husband used the rest of the apartment, their youngest daughter was locked away in total darkness, dependent on parents who had stopped feeding her.
Okay.
So, it's just, I always get aggravated, I always get stressed out, I'm always on high alert, I can't ever let my guard down, because as soon as I do, I'm afraid she's going to get targeted. And, you know, I've always been protective of her because of that. I would feel more protective of her over her than I did of the other ones because they should know better. I don't know if they think that she was, you know, taking away from their time, or they thought, oh, because, you know, they're not number one anymore, you know. That's what I always thought was probably the problem, because They started targeting my stuff in my closet. They literally tore up everything in my closet, but won't touch the dads. He asked them why not. Oh, we don't want to make you mad. We don't want to get in trouble. I said, but you don't want to, would you like to see me mad? Getting in trouble with me? They're like, we don't know. Like, how? He literally left his closet doors open and put his tools still in the box in front of the closet, and they won't even glance at it. So it's like stuff. And I told her that I don't feel like I belong here anymore. It feels like they don't want me around here anymore. And the hardest feels, that's what it felt like. He goes, no, they love you guys. They love you. I said, I know that because they're children, but, sometimes it feels like that's the only me that's fighting for Emma because you're always working.
What does he do for work?
And he's working on his truck and he's working on his buddy's truck that's helping him work on his. Because they only know about each other's trucks because one has a fucking Chevy and one's a goddamn Dodge.
Okay.
Stupid Dodge.
Jaime shifts her strategy from medical excuses to deflecting personal blame. She turns on her husband, Jimmy. She paints a picture of a household where she is entirely abandoned, complaining that he spent his days outside, working on trucks rather than helping with the children. Finger pointing is standard behavior when reality closes in on abusive couples. The legal system does not differentiate between the active abuser and the passive bystander. Both parents occupied that home. Both walked past that locked door. Both watched an infant deteriorate to the weight of a newborn. By throwing her husband under the bus, Jamie confirms that both adults were fully aware of the conditions inside.
Is he employed?
He is with People Ready, but they're playing his freaking emotions. It's ridiculous.
I didn't catch that.
He's working for People Ready.
What is that?
It's like Labor Ready.
Oh, okay.
They used to have an office in Goodyear. I guess they got bought out or owned over by El Centro. And they kept him on the payroll, but they took his jobs and all his tickets that he got for work away for a year and not even told him. They suspended him for 3 months and not even told him because he used one sick day.
Okay.
So
how long has he been?
He's been with Uber for almost 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah, about 3 years.
How often, within let's say the average week, how long is he getting work?
Ever since they're withholding.
When was the last time he had an actual paying job?
The last time they gave him a job was, I think, January.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they've just been playing like they would send him job texts, and as soon as he accepted it and claimed it and confirmed he'd be there, they said, "Oh no, you can't pass the background test."
Okay. And what about you? Are you employed?
No.
Okay.
The little ones this young, I can't, and now that it just craps around, it makes it even harder.
Sure. Yeah, I understand. So you mentioned that she had
on her hips, and then because I would try and stabilize her on her back and off her hips, she got one on her tailbone.
Okay.
So I've used ointment cream, I've used Neosporin, I've used wash sterilizing spray, but get them to go away, and then they come back. Get them away, go back. The funny thing is they never scarred.
Okay.
So I don't know if it was an under the skin issue or.
And how do you know if they were bed sores?
Because she would only get them in bed because she would try and wiggle and stay on that side, and I would have to pin her over because she would try to be playing or something like that. I'm like, you want the deal, you can't be on it.
Yeah.
And.
How long would she be in bed to get the bed sores?
Let's see. Because she's constantly moving. She only takes 1 or 2 naps a day, and then she sleeps all night long.
Okay.
I can't have her out and about with the girls all the time because I don't want her contracting anything, because the girls could have carried it just from the wind, or she'd get it from the opening and closing of the carport door, because she would go anywhere but the master bedroom on the bed, or she'd be in her locker, or she'd be playing in her crib. She knew how to escape Bumbo, so that was a fail. So the majority of the day she's in her crib, but she's playing, she's moving around. It's just when she's sleeping or eating, I try and prop her differently. That way it's not there. She is the mastermind wiggler of anything. There was no keeping her off whatever side she wanted to be on. It was just crazy. But she didn't know how to sit up yet. She tried. But she was scoop crawling, basically. She was rolling like there was no tomorrow. She did this thing we called the worm, where she would bounce up and down on her tummy and her legs and arms, and bounce on her mattress, thinking it was funny. But she wasn't walking yet. She wasn't talking yet. She wasn't.
Was she like army crawling or anything?
Yeah, she was scoop crawling. She maybe would go backwards, but yeah.
Okay. So if she wasn't napping or sleeping, how long would she be in her crib?
The majority of the day that way, she would be, in and out.
What's the majority of the day? A couple hours, several hours?
Several hours, but she'd be constantly moving. There was no keeping her still, period. She'd be at one end of the crib, hide to the other side of the crib, go back to the other side of the crib, and you constantly hear her moving, constantly hear her bouncing, kicking the wall that she likes that one spot, messing with her toys on the railing, just always going.
Would you, because the other girls, would you keep the door closed?
Yes.
Okay. Who all had access to that room then? Just you and Jimmy?
Yeah.
Okay.
The only time they can get in there, you get a set screwdriver while everyone's asleep at night.
Okay.
Or early in the morning.
Okay. And that's been going on forever?
Off and on since she was about 4 to 6 months old.
Okay.
And they'll stop for a time and then...
No, I mean crib.
Oh, just about holiday time.
Like New Year's holiday?
Like Thanksgiving area.
Okay.
So.
Okay. And baby?
No, none of them were. But,
Okay.
I don't know what they're thinking of me.
No, sure, absolutely. No, that's not what I meant by it.
We might have kids in the future. But things don't work out, but we don't regret it.
Okay.
So.
Can you sit tight for just a second? Thanks.
I hope you're happy.
Hey, Jamie, did officers get your name and birthday and phone number and all that stuff? Do we have all of your personal information if we need to contact you later? Do you have any questions for me as far as what's going to happen from here?
What else? Say everything else, but it's not fair.
It's not what?
I don't know what to say. It's not fair.
It's not fair. What's not fair?
Why did she have to be taken like that?
Yeah.
My mom lost her 4th daughter too, but she lost her to suffocation also. It's another family curse, is it? Got playing games.
The detective utilizes the final phase of his strategy. He leaves Jaime entirely alone in the room with the silence. Her maternal performance culminates in a final display of self-pity. When the detective returns, she does not ask about the medical status of her daughter. She does not ask what happens next for her child. Instead, she reframes the tragedy around herself, calling it a family curse and a game that God plays. She leaves the police station believing her friendly conversation bought her freedom. The room was a trap. Every circular lie, every deflection of the bedsores, and every detail about the locked door was logged for a jury.
And I don't have an answer. But from here, we're going to head back over to the waiting room. Your husband's still next door. He's talking to one of the detectives next door. And then once he's done, we can go home. Okay? Do you have any questions for me? Okay.
No, thank you.
All right. Thank you. You're more than welcome to wait in here if you don't want to wait in here, or if you don't want to wait in the waiting room. Wherever's this is a little bit more private. If you want to hang out here, you can.
But I just want to be with my family.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So I go to the waiting room. I'm going to have to stay there.
Sorry?
I'm going to the waiting room.
Okay.
Okay.
The performance in Interrogation Room 2 could not withstand forensic science. The autopsy report of Emily shattered every loop Jaime spent 45 minutes spinning. There was no choked baby cereal. There was no mystery digestive valve issue. The medical examiner confirmed the cause of death was severe, prolonged malnutrition, and dehydration. Emily had been starved to the point where her body had entirely consumed its own fat and muscle tissue. Arizona acted swiftly. Jaime McBride and James Leighton Given were arrested and charged with first-degree premeditated murder. James Given was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus a consecutive 51 years for the abuse of the surviving sisters. Jaime McBride faced an equally absolute judicial fate. She will never lock another child away in the dark. The 3 surviving daughters were permanently removed from the home and placed into state care, away from the shadow of their parents'